Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. club. And it's Monday, an overcast Monday. It's not raining at the moment. It's very, very still, but that cloud looks like it's going to be hanging around for a day or two. So, and quite quiet down here. As you can see down here at Circular Quay, I'm in front of the Museum of Contemporary Art, and there's nothing much happening. It's a quiet old Monday. I'm on my morning tea, so rather than stuff my face, I thought I'd crank out a Jim's 5 a.m. club just to keep the tally clicking over and make sure that I'm on my way to achieving my dream. Anyway, talking about dreams, what I want to do today is take you through another book summary. And the book summary is entitled The Second Mountain by David Brooks. So it's all about finding out a little bit more about ourselves, understanding ourselves, and getting another view, another aspect of what other people are doing with their lives. And it's a call to action, or a call to action to help us identify our calling and to make sure that we're on the right track and climbing the right mountain. So the author kicks off the book with a quote, and the quote is as follows: "We think we want ease and comfort, and of course we do from time to time, but there is something inside of all of us that longs for some calling that requires dedication and sacrifice." And the author then states and gives us a wake-up call that it's not about you. The key to living, the key to life, the reason why we're here is not about us, not about me, not about you. But we need to understand that the gifts that we have need to be used to ascend our mountain or use it to serve others. But you need to try and figure out what is your cause, because a lot of people use their gifts and talents for self-gratification, for becoming personally wealthy, for trying to live the best life they possibly can, being as selfish as they can, and causing as much collateral damage as possible, as long as they try and climb to the top of the mountain number one we're talking about. But it's only once you've ascended mountain one, that selfish mountain where you're just trying to do everything for yourself, that you realize when you're at the top of that mountain, you look across and go, hey, I'm on the wrong mountain. I really need to be climbing the second mountain. So the theme of this book is about trying to figure out in your own way and in your own life and in your own mind what that first and second mountains are. So the author then goes on to enlighten us and to state the obvious, that society is plagued by widespread selfishness, which is making us all lonely and ultimately unhappy. I guess the older you get, the more you realise that life can be lonely and unhappiness abounds, and we're not alone in those feelings, and those feelings are quite common amongst many people, even though many people don't admit it. Their egos don't allow them to admit it, but deep down you can just see it, you can taste it, you can smell it, that this whole concept of individualism, which is rampant in society today, is setting us apart and killing community, killing off community, and just basically drowning everybody in their unhappiness and in their isolation. So much so that very few people in today's society know who their neighbours are. We're becoming increasingly lonely and depressed, and you can tell by the amount of medication that is being used to try and address depression. But the reason why we're depressed, as the author alludes to and will continue to talk about, is that we're climbing the wrong mountain. We're climbing the first mountain, and we're making a big mistake by not knowing which mountain to climb, and not having our parents, our friends, our families, our siblings advise us along the way that there is a second mountain. You know, these days we're all convinced by the marketing, by the media, by our school teachers, by the books that we read, that it's all about personal achievement and being the best you possibly can. And a lot of the books that I've talked about here on Jim's 5am Club have that flavour. But we need to find a balance and to understand that the reason why we have gifts, and the reason why we have opportunity, and the reason why we're lucky to make money, lucky to be healthy, lucky to have all these other things in our lives, these God-given gifts, is for us to share those gifts with other people and help those less fortunate than us live a more comfortable life, so that they in turn can go and contribute to other people as well. So we all feel that we're missing out on something when we have time to reflect, and it's hard to reflect. It's very, very difficult to reflect in a world that is full of distraction. But we do find out that once we sit down and reflect in those moments of loneliness, which are gifts as well, those moments of solitude, that there is something missing. And the pursuit of personal enjoyment is extremely fleeting and causing our distress and our problems. But nobody ever told us. Nobody took the time to tell us. Because eventually life, as sad as it sounds, becomes a sea of sadness with a little bit of pleasure scattered here and there. How profound is that? But how scary and worrying is that thought? It's a very deep thought, but something that we need to be aware of and to address. And this book here gives us a few opportunities to work out how to address it. So the author then goes on to talk about the importance of focusing and serving others, because serving others brings not only happiness but also joy as well. I never quite thought that there was a difference between happiness and joy, but there must be, because they're different words and they're different emotions and they're different experiences. But the author makes it very clear that there's a very, very big difference between being happy and being joyful and fulfilled. And in order to become fulfilled and joyful, we need to ascend that second mountain. And in order to ascend that second mountain, we need to ask ourselves, what's in it for me to ascend the second mountain? And the author then invites us to consider that soul happiness should not be your sole focus. Your personal pleasure, your personal contentment, or your personal happiness shouldn't be your sole focus, because happiness is nothing when you compare it to joy, which is, according to the author, a continuous, constant and profound sense of emotional well-being. How wonderful does that sound? And how enticing is it to try and chase a sense of being continually, constantly and profoundly swimming and enjoying a sense of emotional well-being. And the author then goes a little bit further to explain that joy is about self-transcendence. So transcending from yourself and going outside of yourself and giving your time and energy to others whilst enjoying their company, helping them grow, rise and develop into higher versions of themselves and improving their lives. And by improving their lives, you're also automatically and implicitly improving your life. So the third point in the book here is that make no mistake that serving others whilst creates joy and creates an enhanced feeling of self and lifestyle is hard work and requires tremendous commitment, because there are some harsh realities on that second mountain, some very, very harsh realities that need to be discussed openly before you even consider becoming a servant of others. And as you know, as a parent, as a grandparent, as a husband, as a partner, as a sibling, as a family member, to give to others is a big effort, and it means emptying yourself of yourself and forgetting your selfishness, but gaining joy and pleasure by seeing the joy and pleasure that other people receive in their lives. Because it's important to understand that when you let others into your life and you take on servitude of others, then you'll also become exposed to their problems, their challenges, their issues, which is tough, because you get to see what others are going through and you get to feel their pain and suffering. But in order to get through this is a very, very powerful point. In order to be able to survive and to be able to help others, you need to be dedicated and have a predetermined response to difficulties, knowing that you're going to see shit, knowing that you're going to feel abused as well when you can't get through and work through some of the challenges with the people around you. But you need to stick with them. If you decide to serve somebody and to help them, then you need to be there for better or for worse. We hear it all the time when people get married, but do people really think about it, that they're going to be with people for better or for worse? Are they going to be with their partner for better or for worse? Are they going to be with their children for better or for worse? Something to think about. But as the author said, in order to get over it and get through it and get around it, you need to have a predetermined response in terms of what you do, what you say to yourself, how you empower yourself when things get tough, when things get ugly, and when things get messy. Because you need to be there during those moments and steer the ship through those rough waters. Anyway, a powerful book, and thank you very much for allowing me to share it with you. And once again, I've learnt quite a bit from this book summary, and I hope you've had the opportunity to pick up a couple of points as well. The Second Mountain by David Brooks. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable, and most importantly, let's all sit and think about how selfish our lifestyle is, and to try and figure out what we need to do in order to become of service to those around us, and to give up on ourselves and to use those gifts, use our wealth, use the opportunities, our networks, and all of the things that we have around us to bring happiness and joy to those around us, to be servants, which will in turn bring joy to ourselves. And I think that's about it. So thank you very much. Yassas, Filakia from Jim's 5am Club. And I'll come to you again a little later at lunchtime with another book summary. And until then, enjoy the rest of your morning, enjoy the rest of your day. Ke kalo mena. Happy first of the month to everybody.